Today our focus is going to be on the shoulder girdle. And when I say shoulder girdle, I mean the shoulder, scapula, rib cage, that whole area, the whole connection around here, right? Not just the top of our shoulders, which we so commonly just bring our mind to when we say shoulders. Think about your scapula, your shoulder blades that just float and rest on the back of your ribs. And so think of those scapula, your shoulder blades, as like little hands. They're just kind of floating around on the back of your rib cage. They have a lot of movement, right? And they have movement because those shoulder blades, the scapula, are only attached to one other bony landmark in your body, and that's your clavicle, your collarbone. And it's just attached right up here, and it's very small attachment spot, so that makes our shoulder blades very, very mobile. So we need to rely on our muscles that surround the shoulder blades and rib cage to keep our shoulders stable. And when they're unstable or unbalanced, we tend to have faulty posture, faulty alignment, if you will. Shoulders creep up to our ears, shoulders round forward, right? Just from our daily habits of typing on a computer or staying warm in the cold winters, shrugging our shoulders up to our ears. So today I just want you to be aware of where your shoulders are in space, okay? And to start, we're going to be on our backs without any weight. Later in this video, we will be adding a very light weight, which is just 1 pound is what I have. You only need one. You don't need a pair of anything, just 1 pound. If you don't have a dumbbell or a 1 pound weight, use a bottle of water or maybe a can of soup, and you just need one. So go ahead and lie all the way down on your backs. We'll get started with just some body awareness of your shoulder blades, where they are in space, where they are on your body. So once you're all the way down, your arms are going to come down by your sides, and just open your chest, roll your shoulder blades back, and just notice where your shoulder blades are on your mat, on the floor. Does one shoulder blade touch the floor more than the other? Does one shoulder blade poke into the floor? Maybe it's winged out a little bit. So just notice that. Notice if your shoulders are up towards your ears or down. Just feel it in your own body where you are in space. And we're going to start to move now. So just shrug your shoulders up to your ears. Do they both lift up equally? Now reach your shoulders down to your heels, like you're going to touch your fingertips to your heels. Do they both lower equally? Do that again. Shrug them up and lower them down. This is just elevation and depression. We elevate them up and we depress them down. Notice when you're gliding through, does one shoulder pop off the mat? Do we round it forward? Maybe we're right-handed, and so that right shoulder is always forward. Good. Now just relax those shoulders down again. And now from here, I just want you to float your arms up to the sky. Palms face each other. Float your fingertips a little higher to the sky and feel how those shoulder blades lift up away from the floor, and then just melt them back down the rib cage, back flat to the mat. Do that again. Feel how the shoulder blades themselves, the scapula, float around the sides of your rib cage to float up, to reach your fingertips to the sky. And now feel how they just gently melt back down to the floor like butter. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, just stretch the shoulder blades up. Notice if one shoulder has more range of motion. And then exhale, relaxing down. When you come down, notice if one shoulder blade wings and pinches into the floor. 1 more time. Inhale to reach up. And exhaling all the way down. Good. So that was protraction and retraction. From here, we're just going to scissor the shoulders. So I should say scissor the arms. Right arm is going to reach back overhead. Left arm is going to go down by your side. Bring both arms back up to the sky and switch. Left arm overhead, right arm down by your side. So this is pretty easy, right? But it's just building body awareness. So as your arm goes overhead, are you able to glide your shoulder blade down? So remember that elevation and depression. So as the left arm goes overhead, your left shoulder blade depresses down towards your back pocket. Inhale, come back to center. Can you do that without popping your rib cage? Sometimes when we're really tight in the shoulder girdle, we move our ribs to compensate. So keep your spine and rib cage nice and neutral. We're not popping the chest, we're not popping the ribs. Make your shoulder blades move as the arms move. So you will feel the shoulder blade go down as your arm reaches overhead, kind of like a pulley system. So as that arm gets further overhead, the shoulder blade glides down towards your back pocket. And then go ahead and come back to center. We're going to go into a full arm circle. So slowly, feel like you're holding on to 100 pounds. You're going to slowly reach the arms overhead, holding on to that imaginary 100 pounds. You're not going to touch the floor. You're going to hover right above the floor. Are the back of the ribs still touching the mat? Now circle your arms out to your sides and all the way back down, and I want you to feel the mobility, the motion of your shoulder blades. Do that again. Inhale, lift all the way up and over. Now tighten your core, your abdominals. You're holding on to that 100-pound weight as you reach overhead just to a hover. Don't let your arms touch the ground. And then circle back around. You should feel your arm bones just twisting and circling, stirring inside of your shoulder girdle, your shoulder cuff. One more time this direction. And now let's go into our arm circles the other way. So open out. Feel those arms rotate around. Bring the arms up to the sky and all the way down. Can you feel that motion, that circular motion of your arm bones inside of your shoulder cuff? Now, if you have a shoulder injury, you may not want to do the arm circles. Maybe that's a little too much too soon. So just listen to your own body. If there's a motion that we do in this video that hurts your arm or shoulder, skip it or make the range of motion a lot smaller, okay, until you work yourself up to that point. Now we're going to rest our arms all the way back down. Palms face the ground, and just give yourself a big shoulder roll up, back, and down. So the arms are moving because the shoulder blades or shoulders are rolling. Big shoulder roll. And can you make this smooth? A big circle with the shoulders. Now let's switch the directions and just notice if it's still equally as smooth. Do both arms roll the same? Do that one more time, a nice smooth circle. And then rest all the way back down. So again, that was just a little bit of body awareness. So I want you to remember that your shoulder blades move, right? Because now when we get into some of the exercises, sometimes we tend to lock up and tense our shoulder girdle to lift the arm, and we're just causing tension in the neck and nothing else. So go ahead and come all the way up, and we're gonna flip over onto your bellies. And so once you're on your stomachs, I want you to just put your legs sit bone distance apart, put your hands underneath your forehead, left hand down, right hand down, forehead down. And now from here, your legs again are sit bone distance apart, both hips resting gently into the floor. Notice where your rib cage is. Do your rib bones pop and poke into the floor? If they do, knit them. Pull your abdominals in, pull the belly in so you're nice and flat against the floor. Now from here, can you give yourself another big shoulder roll just like you did when you were lying on your back? And as you give yourself the shoulder roll, is it fluid? Is it a nice circular motion? Does one shoulder circle in maybe a bigger range of motion than the other, or maybe it's more fluid than the other? Just notice. And now can we switch the direction? Is it's still smooth as we circle the shoulders? Just check in with your own body. Where are your glitches? Maybe you're making a square instead of a circle. Do that one more time. Good, and relax down. So now from here, you're going to make a fist with your left hand. Now with that fist, you're going to rest your forehead down. We're going to start with your right arm by your side, palm faces in. Roll your shoulder up, back, and down. So if you look at me, I don't want your shoulder rolling down to the floor, right? We want to roll the shoulder up, back, and down so the chest is open. No weight yet. From here, your palm is going to face your body. You're just going to lift your arm bone up and down, right? It's very simple. It's not a lot of work, but what is work is stabilizing your shoulder blade, stabilizing your girdle, right? So we're making sure that we don't round the shoulder down to the floor. The arm bone is lifting only as high as we can stay stable in the shoulder girdle. Okay, so reach the shoulder blade down from your ear so you're not tensing the neck. Let's do that. 5 and down. Float up 4. So we're making sure that we're equally resting on both sides of your ribs, equally resting on both hip bones, both legs, both feet. Do that one more time. And down. Now from here, you're going to turn your arm out to a T position, palm down. Forehead is still resting on top of your fist. Now glide your shoulder blade down towards your spine and towards your back pocket to lift the arm up just to a hover and rest it back down. Now pretend that the only way you're going to lift your arm is from the shoulder blade. So glide the shoulder blade into your spine and down to your back pocket to float the arm up and then back down. So you're not lifting with the arm bone, right? You're lifting from the shoulder blade, pulling in and down and then back down. So it's nothing about the hand. In fact, you can pretend that you don't have a hand, that maybe you're cut off from your elbow down, and you just have an upper arm bone that's floating up because your shoulder blade is pulling back and down to lift it up. Okay, so it's just like that pulley system. Now, as you do this, notice if you're compromising, and you'll know if you're compromising somewhere else in your body if you're putting more weight in one foot, if you're putting more weight in one hip bone, if you're putting more weight in one side of your rib cage, if your shoulders are shrugging up, right? Let's do that 2 more times. Up and down. Do that 1 more time. The shoulder blade pulls back and down. Good. And now making it a little bit more of a challenge, you're going to reach your arm overhead to a Y, just a 45-degree angle. From here, like that shoulder roll, you're going to pull the shoulder blade down your back to float the arm up, and then rest it back down. Do that again. Pull the shoulder blade down your back to float it up, and back down. Couple more times. Pull the shoulder down, open the chest. Good. For 4, and back down. Feel the shoulder blade glide down from your ear. Feel the chest stay open. Are you compensating with the rest of your body? Both legs equally down, both hip bones equally into the floor, both sides of your ribs. Good, your neck is long. Let's do 1 more. Rolling that shoulder blade down to lift the arm up and rest. Now, final one on this side, you're going to reach your arm all the way overhead. And again, if you have a shoulder injury or extreme tightness, this may not be for you. So listen to your body. If it doesn't go overhead, then you can reach it back out or even bend the elbow a little bit. That helps as well. So arm is overhead by your ear. Soften your elbow so the shoulder blade can glide down, and you're going to lift up. It's not going to be very high, and back down. Exhale, the shoulder glides down to lift. And maybe you're not lifting at all. Maybe you're just gliding the shoulder down to get that awareness, and that's fine. Do what your body will allow it to. Never work through pain. Exhale, we're here for 4. Notice if you're compensating or tensing in another part of your body. Try to release it. We're working that right shoulder blade. Glide it down your spine. Good. Do that 2 more times. Lifting up, your elbow joint stays soft. Abs pull in. That was your last one, and rest. Now from here, we're going to add that weight, but instead of being on our bellies, we're going to come up into a tabletop position. And so the part of the reason starting on our belly is because it shows us where we need to be in a neutral spine, right? And so as we're here, be very careful that you don't sink your belly and chest down to the floor. So pretend that you had that floor right underneath you, and you can't let the belly fall down. You can't let the ribs fall down. You're going to be in that nice neutral spine. Go ahead and grab that weight. Just 1 pound, remember. From here, you're going to bring that weight back by your side. Now check in with your body. Is your shoulder rounding down, right? If it is, roll it back. Open the chest. Now from here, you're going to lift up just an inch or 2 and then back down to your hip. Do that again. Lift up just an inch or 2 and back down to your hip. Now straighten your spine. That includes your head and neck. Lengthen the back of your neck so there's no wrinkles in the back of your neck. Feel like somebody's pulling on the tips of your ears, pulling the crown of your head forward from your tailbone, reaching the tailbone back behind you. Now, every time that arm lifts, I want your belly to pull in and up with it. Every time that arm lifts, I want the ribs to tighten, pull up with it. Good. Keep your chest lifted above the ground. So I'm going to give you a bad posture next, right? So if you look at the camera, look at me. I don't want you sinking down into that left shoulder, right? So push your left palm into the ground, stay lifted, and let's do 4 more. Keep the chest open for 3. Think of the shoulder blade pulling back and down for 2. 1 more time, up and down. So yes, you did feel your tricep a little bit, but the weight was light enough that you shouldn't have been really burning out on that tricep. And remember, you can drop that weight at any time. We're going to reach our right arm out to our side. When it's here, again, if you look at me, I don't want you sinking down into that left shoulder blade. So push away. Now pull the belly in, knit the front of the ribs. That right arm is going to reach out to the side and then back down. So this is a little bit more of a challenge. And what's kind of fun about this challenge is it challenges your core, your obliques, right? So you're trying to keep shoulder in line with shoulder, hip in line with hip. Pretend that you're in a plank position. Feel your core as if you're holding a plank as you open that arm out. Now, there's a lot to think about. Don't forget about the shoulder girdle. Don't forget about the shoulder blade. Feel it pulling back and down to open that arm, just like you did on your bellies. And know that you can always come back to your belly. If this tabletop position is too much for your left shoulder, come back down onto your belly and do the same thing, but you're only going to be lifting an inch. Let's lift 2 more. Exhaling up, feel the ribs nice and tight. 1 more, lift it up, and then back down. Now from here, I want to talk about that left arm. So shake it out a little bit. Notice, and I'm not going to be able to do it very well because I don't hyperextend the best, which is good. I want the inside of the elbow facing in towards your other arm. I don't want you to lock it forward. I don't want you to hyperextend that elbow. That's just going to get into that other shoulder joint, right? We never want to lock joints. So bend that elbow around, place that hand back down, soften the elbow, shoulders glide down. Now your arm is going to reach out to a 45-degree angle. Pull the belly in tight. We're going to lift up and back down. Now you'll start to feel how this little 1-pound weight can get really heavy on that shoulder. So at any time, just drop that weight. Your goal is to stay in a nice neutral spine. As you lift that arm, glide your shoulder down your back. Can you glide it down without letting the ribs sink to the floor, without letting the belly sink to the floor? Exhale to lift for 4. You should be feeling your waistline. Lift for 3. Glide the shoulder down from your ear for 2. Last 1. And rest all the way down. Final set on this side. So your right arm is going to be right in front of you. Soften your left elbow, pull the belly in tight, find that neutral spine. The right arm is going to lift straight overhead and back down. If this is too much, you get rid of that weight. Exhale or come back to your belly at any time if that left shoulder is giving up on you, if you're having a hard time holding this tabletop position. Exhale to lift. Now when that arm lifts up, your belly's going to pull in tighter. The ribs are going to pull in tighter. Let's lift up for 4. And back down. Keep softening that left elbow. Lift for 3 and back down. Last 2 and down. One more time. Lift it up and down and rest. Place that weight away. We're going to come back down onto our backs to do the other side. So make a fist with your right hand, place your forehead down, and now starting on that left side, no weight. That left arm is going to be right in by your side. Engage your glutes a little bit. Pull the belly in tight. So just like you did when we were in that tabletop position, the left arm is going to float up and back down. Do that again. Float it up. This will feel good after being on that left arm with our tabletop. And as you lift up, keep the left chest open, right? So you feel that arm bone just rotating inside the shoulder cuff. Get that movement. Feel that movement. And now when you lift up, notice if you're compromising somewhere else in your body. Are you equal on both tops of your feet? Are you equal on both hip bones? Both sides of your rib cage? Let's do that 2 more times. Lift up and down. Feel that rotation of that arm bone up and down. Now reach your arm out to your side to a T position. Palm faces down. Now give yourself a big shoulder roll. Now from there, the shoulder is going to pull into your spine and down to your back pocket to lift the arm, and you rest it back down. Do that again. Roll that shoulder down towards your back pocket and lower. So the only reason that arm is lifting is because your shoulder is pulling into your spine and down the ribs towards your back pocket. Get that range of motion. Exhaling to lift up for 6 and down. Exhale, pull the waistline in for 5. And down. Relaxing the neck. So you're trying to lengthen the back of the neck. No wrinkles in the back of the neck. Glide your shoulders down. Let's do 2 more. Exhaling to lift. Inhaling down. 1 more time. Exhale to lift. Inhaling down. Now reach that same arm up overhead at an angle, a 45-degree angle. Roll your shoulder up, back, and down. So lengthen the back of the neck. No wrinkles. Now from here, the shoulder blade glides down to lift the arm up. Maybe it's just a hair off the ground. That's fine. It doesn't have to lift very high. Maybe it doesn't lift at all. Maybe it's just an engagement of that shoulder gliding down. That's fine too. Now when you lift that left arm, make sure that you're not tipping the body. The body stays exactly where it's at on the mat. You engage your core to glide that shoulder blade down to lift the arm. Exhale up for 5. Inhaling down. Just notice a difference between sides if you have it. 4 and down. Exhale, lift for 3 and down. Last 2 and down. 1 more time. Glide the shoulder down and rest the arm. Now bring that same arm all the way overhead. And again, this is the hardest position for a lot of people. So if you have any kind of impingement, you may not want to go straight overhead like so. And you can always bend the elbow at any time out of any of these exercises. Bending the elbow will give you a little bit more range of motion in that shoulder. So the arm is overhead. Let's soften your elbow. Glide the shoulder down to start. And now let's go ahead and lift up to a hover and then back down. Now think of a pulley system. The only reason that arm is lifting is because the shoulder is gliding down your ribs. Feel that shoulder blade move down as the arm lifts. Do that again. So it's starting from the core. It's not starting from the hand. It's starting from the core. So pretend that you didn't have an arm from your elbow down to your fingertips, and it's just the upper arm lifting because the shoulder is doing the work. And again, you should feel core work here. Let's do that 4 more times. Exhaling to lift, inhaling down. Last 3, exhale to lift, inhaling down. 2 more times, shoulder glides down. 1 more time, lifting up and down. Good, now let's do that all with the weight in a tabletop position. And again, if the weight isn't right for you, just get rid of it. You definitely don't need it. It's 1 pound and it does tend to get heavy. So do what you can. The weight goes in your left hand if you're going to use it. That right elbow stays soft. Left arm right back by your side. Neutral spine, so we're not rounding and we're not extending. Nice neutral position. Roll your left shoulder up, back, and down. Now from there, you lift the arm up and down. Lifting up and down. So we want to make sure that we don't do a teeter-totter thing here with our arm. So as our arm lifts up, we don't want the shoulder to collapse down, right? We want to pull the shoulder back with the arm. Feel like you're going to reach that weight to the back of the room, behind you. Stretch it back to lift. Like you're going to punch the back wall with your knuckles. So the shoulder glides down to lift up. Exhale, glide down to lift up, down from your ear. Now, I'm kind of lifting my head a little bit too much. I can feel that in my neck. I want you to nod the chin just a little bit so you're lengthening the back of the neck. Your whole spine is straight. Some of us can be down here. We don't want to be there either. Just look right at the bottom of your mat, right ahead of you, right? And then soften that right elbow. Pull the ribs in. Let's do this 2 more times. Gliding back to the wall and up. And now go ahead and rest that arm down. You're going to open that arm out to your side. And now from here, that arm goes out to the side and then back down. Do that again. You're opening out and back down. And I'm going to turn at a different angle for you to see. So as you're here, when you open, you don't let the chest drop, right? Or you don't lift and rotate the ribs. So sometimes if we have the, a shoulder that isn't as mobile as we want it to be, sometimes we move the ribs instead of the arm and shoulder. So make sure that the ribs are staying still. And again, check in with that right elbow. Soften it so you don't lock it. Shoulder in line with shoulder, hip in line with hip. 5 and down. Open for 4 and down. Feel the front of the ribs knit nice and tight for 3. Even though we have that 1 pound weight, that little bit of extra weight can really take it out of the shoulder and maybe put it more into the bigger muscles. So like I said, get rid of that weight at any time. Still feel that shoulder blade move down your back. Do 1 more. Opening and closing. Good. Now from here, we're going to take it out to that angle. And so I'm going to move again for you. So from here, we're out at an angle like a Y. You're going to open and close. Again, open out at a Y and close. And now if you look at the camera, I want you to look at me. I'll give you a bad position, sinking down, right? We don't want to sink into that right shoulder. You press into the floor, stay lifted, open out to the Y and down. Open out and down. Feel your core pulling nice and tight. 5 and down. Open for 4 and down. Opening 3 and down. Pull the belly in 2. Good. Feel that shoulder glide down your back. Last one. Very nice. Now we got 1 more to get through. I'm going to turn back side view. You're going to reach that left arm out ahead of you. Soften your right elbow, shoulders down. Hardest one out of all of them. You're going to lift the arm straight up and down. Now as the arm lifts, I turn back on side for a reason. I don't want you to dip the spine or ribs, right? So move from the shoulder girdle. Don't let the chest drop. Don't let the ribs drop. Don't let the belly drop. Spine stays neutral. We have 6 and down. Float up for 5. Maybe you don't get as high. That's okay. Float up for 4. Go at the range of motion that your body allows. Lift up for 3. So you're only going to go as high as you can stay neutral in your spine, neutral in your ribs. 1 more time. Up and down. Release that weight. Sit back to your heels. Just stretch in a child's pose position. Let your forehead rest to the floor. Turn your palms to face up. Take a deep breath, inhale. Exhale, stack yourself up nice and tall. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. The right arm is going to reach forward. We're just going to do a nice little stretch. And I want you to twist back. Look at that right hand as it rolls all the way back down and around. Just like you're swimming in a pool, like the backstroke. Lift the left arm up. Twist back. Follow that left arm with your vision with your eyesight, and then back around. Right arm up, inhale, twist, open up the ribs, open up the chest, and all the way around. Last time, left arm lifts up, open, twist, and all the way around. Go ahead and give yourself a big shoulder roll. And now as you work through your day, moving, pulling, pushing carts, lifting children, groceries, whatever you're doing, I want you to be very aware of where your shoulder blades are in space, and know that you have to stabilize them before you move the arms, the bigger muscles of the arms. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you soon. Thanks so much.